Our world runs on this hidden set of rules. It's like an invisible architecture of agreements and standards that manages, well, everything, from the video you're watching right now to the stuff that shows up in your local store. Okay, let's jump into this complex web and see how we actually bring some order to the chaos of modern life.
That really is the central question, isn't it? I mean, we are more connected, we have more information at our fingertips than at any point in human history. But that very connection creates this staggering level of complexity that can feel, honestly, just overwhelming. And look, this isn't some abstract high in the sky problem. It hits all of us every single day in the most personal ways. Let's ground this in some examples you've probably felt yourself. I mean, of course you have. We all have, right? That feeling of staring at a document and you see the words, but you have no real clue what they actually mean or what you're supposed to do. It's a completely universal frustration. Yeah, it starts with things that look like this. You see a headline on some official-looking document. It's dense, it's full of jargon, it feels like it was written in a language you were supposed to learn in school, but you just didn't.
And the jargon, it just keeps coming. You might see a phrase like 2026 PYQHP issuer buried deep in some document. It's just an endless stream of acronyms and codes that create these massive barriers to understanding really basic things like our own healthcare.
And this right here, this shows you that the stakes can be incredibly, incredibly high. This isn't just about confusing paperwork. It's about trying to navigate life or death situations through a maze of legal and medical terminology. A simple mistake, a missed deadline, it can have absolutely devastating consequences. And the cost of that complexity? Well, it can be measured in time. 2 years. That's how long someone might have to wait just to get their case heard, all while trying to navigate this slow, ridiculously complicated system. So the point is, this isn't just an inconvenience. It's a huge burden on people's lives. Okay, now let's zoom out, way out. Because this feeling of being completely overwhelmed by complexity, it isn't just personal. It is a massive global challenge. Every single product we buy, every message we send, it crosses borders and systems that are all governed by their own intricate, complicated sets of rules. The complexity we feel in our daily lives, it's just a tiny, tiny sliver of a much larger global puzzle. Just try to wrap your head around this number for a second. Over 400 free trade agreements. Each one is a dense document with its own unique rules, its own tariffs, its own requirements. Now imagine trying to manage a supply chain that crosses through, say, 5 of those zones. The potential for error is just enormous. And what's really interesting here is what this reveals about the gaps in this system. So in 2021, the World Customs Organization had over 4,000 seizures for tax evasion. But they only got details on the type of fraud in a fraction of those. And as for how it was done, almost nothing. This complexity creates blind spots where illegal activity can just flourish. So how do we even begin to manage all this? How do we tame the chaos? Well, the first part of the answer is surprisingly simple, but it is incredibly powerful. We create a shared language. This is a technical standard. I know, it sounds super boring, but it's a truly revolutionary idea. A standard is basically just an agreement on how to do something. It's what ensures that a screw made in Germany will fit a nut made in Japan, or that your phone can connect to a Wi-Fi network anywhere in the world. It's magic. And these standards, they don't just appear out of thin air. They are painstakingly developed by global organizations like the ITU. These are the groups that somehow manage to get everyone in a room to agree on the fundamental rules that let our technologies and economies connect seamlessly. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, everything. These standards are what define how 5G works. They ensure the 4K video you're streaming is crystal clear. They set the security rules for your smart home devices and even create the frameworks for a future of digital identity. They are the invisible bedrock of our entire digital world. But standards are only part of the story. To truly handle the massive volume of information in our complex world, we needed a technological leap. And that's where, you guessed it, artificial intelligence comes in. We have incredible technology now that can literally X-ray an entire shipping container in seconds. But a human can't possibly analyze every single one of those images effectively. The real bottleneck has shifted from just gathering the data to making sense of it all. This shows the paradigm shift perfectly. Manual review, it's slow, it's prone to error, and it's retrospective. It's always looking in the rear view mirror.
AI, on the other hand, is fast. It detects hidden patterns a human would totally miss, it fuses info from dozens of sources, and it shifts from looking backward to actually predicting future risks.
In practice, it looks something like this. An AI flags a suspicious item in a scan, and it automatically cross-references it with the shipping manifest and intelligence from other ports. Then it presents all of that to a human operator on a single screen. See, this isn't about replacing the human. It's about empowering them to make faster, much better decisions.
And this quote from the World Customs Organization really just sums it up perfectly. The future isn't about more checkpoints. It's about smarter data analysis that lets us focus our limited attention where the risk is greatest.
But with all this talk of standards and AI, it is so easy to forget the most critical component in all of this. The technology is only as good as the people who design it, run it, and oversee it.
These complex global systems aren't autonomous. They are built and maintained by teams of dedicated, highly skilled people. And without their expertise, the whole structure just falls apart. And that presents its own whole set of challenges. How do you find people with these specialized skills? How do you make sure that the wisdom of experienced officers gets passed down to the next generation? And how do you keep people motivated and create a culture where they feel safe to talk about complex problems? These are human challenges. Technology can't solve them.
This piece of data from a recent PwC survey is so telling. After fair pay, what do skilled workers want most? A fulfilling job where they can be authentic. So the crucial point is that keeping the human expertise we need to run our complex world, it's about way more than just money. It's about purpose and culture. Which leaves us with this question. As standards and AI keep bringing more and more order to chaos, automating all the routine tasks, what becomes the main role of the human in the system? Maybe it's not just about finding the needle in the haystack anymore. Maybe it's about asking whether we're looking in the right haystack to begin with. Definitely something to think about.